All right, guys, we are talking Arizona elk draw strategy 2024 and the application and draw deadline and all that kind of stuff is coming up, guys. So we're gearing up for it. I'm giving you a unit breakdown today of Unit 22. Unit 22 is one of my favorite units just because of the location and just overall great elk hunting. Not known for giant bulls, but there's a really good population in Unit 22. Unit 22 is separated between 22 North and 22 South. And really, 22 North has the majority of the elk population, obviously, given the fact that all the elk tags pretty much are allocated to the 22 North section, with a few of them given to that 22 South area, which if you're hunting 22 South, you're really focusing on the northern half of 22 South as it is anyway. So given that, guys, 22 North sits on the Mogollon Rim, in which is a unit boundary for several units across Arizona. Units 6A, any units that touch basically the Mogollon Rim, 6A, 5A, 22, 23, and then you go down 3A, 3C, all that kind of stuff, which is all floating 27, all has elements of the Mogollon Rim on it, which is really important because these elk like the rugged country. They like it up there. The rim kind of provides a habitat that is very elk oriented, with ponderosa pine forests and lots of water. Typically in 22 North, you have lots of little creeks and streams, along with 23, which we'll talk about in the next video. But there's naturally flowing creeks and streams. You can fish a little trout. You've got the Verde River, the East Verde River, Tonto Creek, Christopher Creek. And then as you go east, there's more creeks and streams and things like that too. So really, really picturesque, good elk country. And like I said before, the rim and the country that 22 North has really provides the perfect elk habitat. And there's a really healthy population in 22 and 22 North overall. There's a lot of cover. There's a lot of treed areas.
Is it necessary?
Very difficult to hunt in some spots.
No, it's not.
And then
also, some people don't want to know what's going on.
Easier to hunt, but have a lot of hunting pressure.
Unnecessary?
So I'm just going to walk you through it, guys. Kind of give you my overall experience.
I
spent a lot of time in 22
my good
North,
friend and former guest on the Human Lab podcast,
and
Dr.
22
Eddie
South.
Chang, who's
but
a medical doctor
for general
and chair
purposes, I'm going to talk about
neurosurgery
22
at the
North
University of California, San Francisco.
in this video.
When I told
if you guys do draw a 22 South tag, that's fantastic. There's great hunting along the 22 South area, and I'll kind of highlight that on the map as well when I go into that 22 South section. But 22 North really has the majority of the tags. So there's several different hunts in 22 North. You've got the early archery hunt, which takes quite a few points to draw, as you can imagine. In any Arizona elk unit that has a good elk population, the early archery tag is extremely difficult to draw. As a non-resident, you're looking still at the 17, 18 point range. And as a resident, down in that 15, 12 to 15 point range as well. They give a muzzleloader hunt, they give a rifle hunt, both in 22 North, and then they offer some a tag down there, 22 South as well, and some of that rut stuff. So again, these early rifle and early muzzleloader hunts are during the rut. So it's right after the bow season ends in late September. They offer early rifle tags and early muzzleloader tags. Very difficult to draw. You're looking at 20 plus points for that. And just honestly, in my opinion, if I had 20 some odd points, if I was a non-resident or a resident, I particularly would not burn them on an early tag in 22. That's not saying there's not really big bulls and there's not great bulls to hunt, but you're in that ballpark. If you're really looking to shoot a 350 plus bull, I personally would hold out for a little bit better unit or an early rifle option or an early muzzleloader option that could give you something, I don't know, a little bit more enticing. 350 bulls are killed out of 22 North, but you know, being totally honest and straightforward, it's not one of those units where you're looking for that to kill. You're going to see a lot of bulls in that 300 to 330 type range. Just given the habitat, given the design, and given the tag allocations in 22 North, it's a population type hunt and not so much a trophy hunt. Like I said, it's very good habitat. There's lots of elk, but there's also a lot of tags and a lot of hunting pressure, which just doesn't allow for elk to mature quite as much, and therefore doesn't have the trophy potential that areas like Unit 9, Unit 10, 23, Unit 1, Unit 27, and 3A, 3C, and a couple other units as well have that trophy potential, where if you drew an early tag in some of those areas, you're really geared up for that 350 plus type bull. So anyway, that's how I feel on my early rifle status, or early archery. Same thing, guys, just goes without saying. You're going to have a great hunt in that early archery season. You're going to see lots of elk. The elk are going to be bugling. It's fantastic. The elk are typically very healthy in Unit 22 because of the natural water that happens all over that area. But you're not going to be holding out for a 380 bull. If you do any kind of research, you'll understand that it's a great hunt. You'll have a great experience, but the chances of you shooting something north of 350 is pretty slim. And just for the record, that's a feat in any unit in Arizona, no matter what tag you draw. A 350 type bull is very, very difficult to hunt and also harvest with a bow. So, but let's dive into some of the hunt offerings that are some of my favorite in the state, that 22 has, which is a late archery hunt option. They give out 300 tags during the late archery season, and it's very, very easy to draw. And this goes back to what I've said in a couple of these units that I've talked about, like 6A and Unit 8, that have good opportunity, meaning that you can draw more frequently, and also good elk populations, which differs from limited opportunity elk hunts that give you great opportunities to draw more frequently, but may not have the population sustainable for you to kill big or just kill bulls every time you draw. Unlike 22 North or 6A or Unit 8 and a couple others, which have the ability to give you that great hunt every year, although some years may not be as great as others. I know this year in 22 North, some of the big bulls were a little bit harder to find. The weather and the moon were kind of funky, and they kind of moved some elk into some areas. So it wasn't, some of these units that you can draw more frequently, you may not get a dream hunt every time you draw, but you can draw it more frequently, and the chances of you having a great hunt and finding a bigger bull increase the more times you are out in the elk woods. So it's my opinion that you should get drawn more often and go hunting more often, which would give you a better chance of shooting something great. And also, guys, it just keeps putting more meat on the table and in the freezer, which is not something to be neglected. I've grown very, very fond of elk meat myself, and I'm as the hunts kind of continue and the draw odds and all this stuff, I tend to find myself gravitating towards hunts that I can hunt bull elk, and I can shoot a bull for meat if I don't find the trophy that I like, and I'm 100% happy with that. So 22 North is one of those kind of hunts. The late archery hunt, let's talk specifically about that. I started and went off on a tangent. Late archery hunt, 300 tags or in that ballpark typically every year. It's a hunt that's easy to draw. It's a very difficult hunt as far as success-wise. If you are willing to sit water and you're willing to get pretty serious and stay dedicated, they do give you time on this hunt. So you do have a couple weeks to hunt, but you have to stay diligent, stay disciplined. You have to have the time off work, or you have to have a guide that's willing to work with you and hunt with you very hard to make it happen. It's one of those hunts where basically those who are successful hunt a lot and they hunt hard. Not only that, those that are successful typically hunt this hunt or have hunted the 22 late archery hunt before. And so they know what to expect. They know how to approach it, and that gives them the upper hand. So drawing more frequently does help in your success down the road when you hunt it again and again and again. So it's a hunt that I really like. Right off the bat, like I said, it's not a high success hunt if you only have a weekend, or if you're looking for a giant trophy bull, it may not present you an opportunity with a bow, flat out. But if it's dry, the conditions are good, water can be very, very effective. Spot and stalk in some of this country is very, very good. Other parts of 22 North are very difficult to spot and stalk on. So just be aware of that. If you do draw the tag and you want help, it's one of those hunts where you definitely should consider it if that's in your budget, from a guide standpoint or outfitter or DIY drop camp kind of stuff. 22 North is one of those hunts where it would very much benefit you to understand the country before you go into it and just understand where the hunting pressure is going to come from, and just have an overall educated approach before you throw your chips in and take off work and do what you need to do to make the hunt happen. So that is a hunt that's offered. 22 late archery, and then you have 22 late rifle. And again, guys, I'm talking about 22 North. 22 South does offer a late rifle hunt as well. And it's a good hunt, but they don't give out a whole lot of tags. It's a great hunt, but I'm specifically talking about 22 North for the most part in this video. 22 North, they have actually 2 rifle hunts, and they're both pretty darn good. I mean, given the conditions, we had conditions this year that were like I said, little funky. We still saw lots of bulls. We managed to kill some bulls and pass some bulls and things like that, just from my own experience this last season and seasons prior. Typically success rates are high, and trophy bulls are few and far between, but you can still shoot that 300 to 330 class bull in 22 North if you're willing to go in there, hike in there, pack it out, have a rifle that can shoot across big canyons or across big meadows, across big open flats, across hills. There are very different terrain features in 22 North all across the area that can really give you longer shots on those bigger bulls. And in order to be successful, you got to be kind of dialed in as far as that goes in the rifle game. So there are 2 rifle hunts. The first hunt is they give out this roughly the same amount of tags, 300 to 400 tags typically every year, depending on what the biology comes up with and the tag allocation numbers. So, but good hunts, good hunt numbers, a lot of hunting pressure. All around 22, just because it's pretty accessible. It's a great place to get an Airbnb and a hotel around Payson or Pine or Strawberry and stay there and hunt during the really cold winter times that these late rifle elk hunts happen. So it's easy to access really for the most part. And a lot of people come up with quads and trucks and stuff like that. That is not indifferent from the rest of the state. 22 North gets a bad rap for having a ton of hunting pressure, when in reality, it's pretty much the same all across the board, whether you're in 27, which takes you 20 points to draw, or in Unit 1, or in Unit 8, or in Unit 6A. Guys, there's hunting pressure all across Arizona in the late rifle season. What people don't understand is we have 7 days to hunt elk in Arizona with a rifle for the most part. Okay, our late rifle season is not, we don't have first, second, third, fourth rifle season. We have 1 rifle season and a few little auxiliary seasons here and there, like a rut season or anything like that, but that's negligible when you're talking about tag numbers. So you have just 1 week, guys. So there's a lot of hunting pressure because people like to go hunting. People like to go with their friends and experience rifle elk hunting in Arizona. So 22 North gets a bad rap for that, I think, for the most part, because people all like to hunt on the really good roads and hunt on the one section of 22 North that's talked about in units and forums and things like that. And so people pile in there because they haven't done any scouting or don't go in there in the first place and find what they need to find. So that's what tends to happen when there's not a whole lot of other information out there, and guys get online and they look and they see 1 or 2 roads listed. And so everybody piles in there because everybody did the same thing when they drew the tag, or when they approached the season, they just looked online real quick and then just made up their mind. So that being said, you guys know that if you get off the roads, if you get away from the people, and if you go in places that other people are not willing to look, your odds of finding a bull or a bigger bull are a little bit higher. And just being away from people is just a lot more relaxing, and just gives you an opportunity to kind of spread your wings a little bit and hike around and not be afraid of not only interrupting somebody else, but having them interrupt you. So during your hunt. So none of us want that to happen. So when you're hunting 22 North, obviously be ethical. Try to be, courteous to everybody. Everybody's on the same page, guys. It's all public land. If it wasn't public, then we wouldn't all be hunting there. So I really take a lot of satisfaction, and also I just really cherish the public land that we have in Arizona. Although it does create some hunting pressure and all that kind of stuff, it is really special. We have a lot of really good elk hunting here, and it's great to keep it public. And other people we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to kill a nice bull, and the better we can treat people, the better everyone else's hunt is. And I've had very good experiences with other hunters in 22 North. It's been very pleasant. There's not a lot of combat hunting. Yes, people do end up kind of mixing it up in the same area, but not on purpose typically. So the second hunt in 22 North is following that first late rifle hunt, where most all seasons end in Arizona and elk hunting is completely done. For bulls, 22 North offers a second rifle hunt. So this is kind of like that second option or second chance for guys to come in there. Very good draw odds, very good opportunities to find elk. It takes you to walking, hiking, getting in there and mixing it up. But guys, there's elk there, there's bulls there. You can be successful. It's a very good hunt to draw if you want to play the game. If you want to start hunting elk in Arizona with a rifle, this is the premium place to do it. It is 22 and 22 North. And I say that meaning if you want to start with 0 points, with nothing on the line. I've already mentioned in 6A and Unit 8 and some of those other units where it's a little bit easier to get drawn when you're in that 5 to 10 point range. But if you're starting from scratch, guys, it's a good place to start, and just get involved, get out there, get hunting. So it's, again, not a unit where you're like, hey, I'm going to shoot a 400-inch bull, or I'm holding out for a 350, because if you do so, you're probably going to go home empty-handed. But it's a great hunt to go experience elk habitat, elk behavior, also human behavior, other hunters, what it's like in the elk woods, what the weather's like, conditions, and all the challenges that it just elk hunting gives you, no matter where you are and what state you're hunting in. So really fun time. I've always had a really good experience on the second late rifle hunt as well in 22 North. We've always had very good success. And it just so happens that sometimes that second hunt can sometimes be a better hunt than the first one because of weather. So as the weeks kind of go in December, it gets colder and colder. And sometimes, not every year, but you'll get these big fronts that'll come in, or big giant freezes or snowstorms that'll come in, and it'll knock a bunch of bulls in the lower country in 22 North. It'll bring them off the rim from 5A, and it'll drop them in at 22 North. And then you have a really good elk population to hunt from that you didn't have in the late rifle season, the first late rifle season. So you never know what you can get. It's good. I like to flip the coin and see what happens in 22 North on either hunt, but specifically that second one is pretty cool. Gives you a good opportunity to, like I said, play the game, get you out in the woods. Draw odds are great as a resident or non-resident. You don't need a ton of points. I mean, we're talking like 5 points around that for the first rifle hunt as a non-resident, a couple points as a resident, and the second hunt, same thing, guys. So a few points will get you in the game, and it'll get you exposed to it. So it's great. I love it, and I'm just excited about it. So I hope you understand that. That I like that, and I definitely think 22 North has a lot of good things going on. And disclaimer, it's not a hunt where you're going to try to shoot a trophy bull. I know I've said that like 5 times, but it's a hunt where you 100% can shoot a big bull, but it's not a hunt where you're living and dying on that big bull, or you'll go home with empty-handed if you don't shoot a 330 type bull. Again, you can. It's totally your choice, but it's a hunt where you're going for the opportunity. You're going for the elk hunt experience. You're going to shoot a bull, whether it's a 330 or a 260 or a raghorn. That's the type of a hunt where you're like, hey man, I just want to go hunting and I want to figure it out, and what I get is what I get. So all good. I hope that helps. I hope the map and the draw odds and all that stuff helps, guys. And as always, good luck in the draw. I have my information linked below if you guys have any questions about guide service, drop camp, scouting packages, all that kind of stuff. Just hit me up. I'll try to stay active, and any comments in this video, I will try to respond to, guys, as well. So we'll see you in the next video. Good luck. Talk to you later.